me. Revelation chapter 7, verses 1. And I'm going to read in your hearing. We're going to read to verse 3. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the sea and the earth, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Okay? So that's going to be our basis right there. Revelation 7, verse 1 through 3. Do not hurt the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the children of God in their where? In their foreheads. Now remember the word seal, okay? It's also a synonymous to the word mark. All right? So, the real 9/11, are we ready for the real one? In 2001, September 11, 2001, Isaiah, you wasn't born yet. Okay, Elliot, you wasn't born yet. But the world was changed. The whole entire world was changed after September 11, 2001. Okay? Let's go through our introduction really quickly. 1. 9/11. Will there ever be another 9/11? Yes or no?
If it happens on the date 9/11.
It'll be what?
I said, if it happens on the date 9/11, then it'll be called the second 9/11.
If it happens on if it happens again on September 11, it'll be another 9/11, right? Okay. All right. That's a good answer.
Are you referring to like the same scenario happening, like on that day?
I mean, any
Tragic events.
tragic events.
Oh yes.
A major tragic event. Absolutely. Okay.
Something that happened in Paris.
Something happened in Paris.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Hangouts, will there ever be another 9/11?
I'm not sure. It's a strong possibility.
Strong possibility. Holly, what do you think?
I think there absolutely is going to be. I think it's very interesting that, you know, America was founded as a Christian country.
Right.
And as time has gone on, it's become less and less Christian. And finally, 9/11 occurred, and it was almost like God was trying to give a wake-up call, like Isaiah, you know, yelling to people, hey, a calamity is going to happen, God, you know, if you don't turn back. And we haven't turned back. We keep America as a country continues to go the other way. So I think, yes, absolutely. And it's going to happen again and again until finally we're destroyed like Jerusalem, so to speak.
So to speak. Very good. All right. Current events that leads up to the next 9/11. There are going to be some current events that's going to lead up to that. After the 9/11 of 2001, changes were forever made. That we cannot go back to pre-9/11. We can never go back to pre-9/11. So once this major 9/11 happens, major changes will be made where we would not be able to go back. Okay? All right. What is this 9/11 account? That's going to be one of our subjects. And the last one is the seal and the close of probation. All right. So nothing is fireproof. Okay? From the pen of inspiration. On one occasion, when in New York City, I was in the night season, called upon to behold building rising story after story toward heaven. These buildings were warranted to be fireproof, and they were erected to glorify their owners and builders. The scene that next passed before me was an alarm of fire. Men looked at the lofty and supposedly fireproof buildings and said, they are perfectly safe. But these buildings were consumed as if made of pitch. The fire engines could do nothing to stay the destruction. The firemen were unable to operate their engines. Do you know who wrote this? Ellen White wrote this in the 1800s. She wrote this in the 1800s, speaking of New York City and what she saw. Yes, she sure did. Okay? She sure did. All right. So, nothing is fireproof. 9/11, will there ever be another? The destruction of the World Trade Center and the nearby infrastructure caused serious damage to the economy of Lower Manhattan and had signified effect had a significant effect on the global markets, closing Wall Street until September 17 and the civilian airspace in the US and Canada until September 13. I remember that day. I was living in Atlanta and I was also living in Texas. I had dual residencies in both states. Okay? And I remember my car was still in Texas. I was working in Atlanta. And September 13th, I remember I had to get my flight. I had already booked my flight for September 13th 2 months in advance. And I remember waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because they said that the lines would be very long. And I remember leaving from Marietta, driving down with a taxi to the airport. I got there. My flight wasn't going to leave until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I left at 3 o'clock in the morning. When I got to the airport, the eerie feeling that was there, everybody was silent. And I also remember that there was no such thing called what are they called right now at the airports that do security check?
Oh, yeah.
TSA. There was no such thing as TSA back then. Okay? So at this point, it was the military. It was the Marines and it was the Army that was in the airport. And I remember the dogs that were sniffing every suitcase, every bag, everything you had. I walked with one thing in my hand, my Bible. And I had my IBM badge inside of it because I had to go to work in Texas. I was working both IBM had me in Texas and in Georgia. So I remember I was going out there and I needed my badge. And what I saw was the security guy or the military guy, he would come to you, he wouldn't even speak to you. All hand gestures. Left, right, open your legs, turn around, all by his hands. Wouldn't even talk. And he went to me, did the same thing, checked me out, made sure he put his hands down my pants, up my socks, in my shoes, took my shoes off. Then he took my Bible, opened it up, tore pages out, took the badge. Yeah, he just ripped whatever he needed to rip out, took the badge, threw that out, gave up my Bible and says, move on. Move forward. And everybody was inching on the line. And the line had started outside. My flight was at 5 o'clock that evening. I didn't get on that plane until 10:30 p.m. after being at the airport since 4 o'clock that morning.
But you were in Atlanta September 11th.
Yes. I had just flown into Atlanta midnight September 11th. Okay? So it was crazy. That whole scenario, I remember. Many closings, evacuations, and cancellations followed out of respect for fear of further attacks. We're going to talk about fear tonight. I posted something on Facebook about fear. A lot of people are very afraid right now of what's going on. All right, current events that's leading up to this next 9/11. What are some of the current events people are starting to see?
Oh gosh, where do I start? Just all the legalization of all the stuff that's going on.
Brexit,
Bestiality,
bestiality, homosexuality, gender changes and all kind of stuff like that, right? The homes are being broken.
Oh, Russia
Russia banned evangelism,
evangelism.
right?
Not allowed to do
Not okay. Now you can't evangelize in Russia anymore. How about
It's,
Brexit? Go ahead.
we're taking steps backwards here in the United States. Now we're falling into racism again and ridiculous violence.
Right. How about Brexit? That was a big deal, right?
It was huge.
How about the bombing in Brussels, in Belgium?
Yep.
Okay. How about what happened last night? There goes the truck.
Orlando.
A bunch of bullet holes. How about Orlando? Right here.
You know, club shooting.
The nightclub shooting in Orlando.
Atlanta was supposedly lynching.
Supposedly some lynching happened in Atlanta. How about all this, the issue right now we have with racial wars?
Yeah.
Okay. How about that? How about what happened in Dallas? What's going on with the Black Lives Matter? And what I found funny when I found this little picture right here was queers and trans Black Lives Matter. I had to post this one. I was like, what? I mean, wait a minute. You could add everybody to this banner. If you're gonna put queer and trans, you might as well put Hispanics. You might as well put Asian. You might as well put, you know what I'm saying? Put the world. Put every nationality on there.
No, even people who are like, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but the other day, I work in Snowball next to the post office, and I noticed there were some police line do not cross fence gates that were set up right there on that little road, that little strip. And I said, what are they doing that for? And our coworker went and said, oh, they're having a protest this afternoon after 5 o'clock. I said, what kind of protest? A unity and peace protest.
Right. A unity and peace protest.
Yeah, so I'm like, even if you were protesting for peace and unity, you're still protesting. You're still causing havoc.
It's not really a protest.
Right.
For the sake of peace and unity.
Exactly.
It's not. What I've learned is that the more you march and protest, the more they want you to march and protest because they want you to come up in some type of unity to uprise. They want an uprising, right? And I was telling a friend of mine, black people are the best people to poke because black people have a chip on their shoulder. So if anybody you want to start an uprising, a white cop shoots a black person, that's all the black community needs. Now, there were 172 deaths from white cops shooting white people. There were 123 deaths of white cops shooting black people. Okay? And then there were others that were done shot by cops. But police have been shooting. There are more deaths of just people, period. There are also 142 deaths of cops being shot in active duty. Okay? This thing is about cops and black people. Cops and black people. But now it's going to be white people versus black people. And what's killing me is that there's a bunch of white people marching with you for Black Lives Matter. But you still want to make it a racial war.
It's chaos, causing division that's going to ultimately lead up to the one world religion or order. The government wants this. They want the people to be such an outrage that they have to declare martial law.
Right.
So that's why they want.
And when they declare martial law, this took place, this picture I just posted right here took place, I believe, that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, in Turkey. Okay? I don't even have space enough to put all kinds of things that's going on. It's just all happening so fast. You can't, the media can't even keep up with the news anymore. The media themselves cannot keep up with the news. Because there's too much stuff going on. And what's happening is, like Ephesians chapter 6 says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Okay? We wrestle against evil men in high places, spiritual powers in high places. We can't fight against this. So what happens is the spiritual power is using men to do its bidding. And they already got things set out and laid out. The agenda is laid out. So for the past 2 weeks, major things has been happening, all leading up to this Saturday. I'm going to talk about that in a second. All right. Major changes were made after 9/11, September 9/11. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anybody know any major changes that was taking place after September 2001?
The Patriot Act. The Patriot Act. The Patriot Act that took away a lot of our constitutional rights.
There you go. There you go. Big Brother was watching everybody. I just came from Dubai. Dubai is one of the biggest Big Brother countries I know. Cameras everywhere. Dubai is one of the biggest Big Brother countries I know. And they still say it's the safest country in the world.
You told us about the thing when you farted public.
Right. They got cameras everywhere. The guy says you cannot spit on the ground in Dubai. It's offensive and they will fine you.
Can you do it in the grass?
They will fine you. Okay?
They'll fine you for what?
Spitting on the ground in Dubai. Okay? Now, this is because they've got cameras everywhere. So it's the same situation. There is absolutely almost no, once you're in public, there's still no privacy. You cannot be yourself in public. There's no freedom. There's no freedom. So, major changes took place after September 11, 2001. Major changes will be prompted before the second 9/11. The agencies of evil are combining their forces and consolidating. They are strengthening for the last great crisis. Great changes are soon to take place in our world. And the final movements will be what? Rapid ones. That means they're going to come like this. Real fast. All the changes are coming in real fast. All of a sudden, same-sex marriage. All of a sudden, bathrooms are being changes. You can't turn your head. All of a sudden, people don't. I don't declare myself to be a she. I don't declare myself to be a he. Call me they.
What?
Okay? There are people who do not declare themselves to be either boy or girl anymore. All right? They don't care to call themselves either boy or girl anymore. Now they just want to be called them or they or whatever the other plural, however they want to personify themselves.
I've never heard of that before.
I'm telling you, I have it on here. We've talked about that before. All right? Oh.
Wait, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Did anything like all this stuff? You know how all this stuff is happening before, like all this same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Did all any of this happen before the?
Yes, it did.
Like what?
Oh, it was same-sex marriage that happened before?
Yeah.
Yes, it has happened before. No, this is history repeating itself. But people don't know, if they don't go and do their research, they don't know that this is history repeating itself. Same-sex marriage was done in Rome. In pagan Rome. This is all paganism. This is paganism now. Bubble mushrooming out of the European under the strain of Rome, when Rome had control over Europe. And if you didn't abide by what they were saying and what they had you to do, they will kill you on the spot. They will take you to jail, kill your children, kill you. So people were on the run from Rome. And they came into what they call the New World. And when they came into the New World, it formed what we have now today, America, and our constitutional rights. That's the reason one of our rights as religion, they made a constitutional right for religion, because America was separated from church and state. Meaning that the state, the church does not govern the state, or the church does not govern the country. There's only one place where the church governs the country. Where is that? Rome. See, so the church is above the government. The church is above the government in Rome. And that's how it was in the European nation. Rome had total control of the European nation until 1798, when there was a guy by the name of Napoleon who sent his general in called Berthier. Berthier went into Rome, took the Pope captive. They took the Pope from Rome to France and killed him there. And that was the year, the age where Rome lost its power. So from 538 AD, Christian Rome, to 1798 AD, what they call the Christian Rome or the papacy,
What is it, 80 cents?
after the death of Christ. That point, that period of time, Rome had power for 1,260 years. And that's where, after that, people were fleeing to come to America. So listen how America gained its independence in where? 1776, right? You celebrate 4th of July, correct? 1776. Now, in 1788, America penned in the Constitution of America. Okay? And America became a nation in 1789. So there you go. 1798, Rome lost its power. 1788, America was coming in. And in 1799, America, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution were finally completed. All right? So now you have your government.
Larry,
Yes?
what year was it? 1798 that Rome lost its power,
Yes.
and then the next year, America became a nation.
America finished. Yep. America finished its Bill of Rights.
I never put that together before.
And America became a nation. So Revelation chapter 11 will let you know straight up, as one went down, the other came up. A brand new nation came up. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Okay? So that's just a little history as to letting you know where we are. So were things before, were they happening before? Yes, they were happening before. Okay? This is just history repeating itself. If you do some history on France, reason why France is in the news so many times. Do y'all recall that France had something what they call the French Revolution?
Yeah.
Have you read on the French Revolution? In school. Very good. Why did they have the French Revolution? No? You don't remember why they had the French Revolution? Well, the French Revolution was to break away from religion altogether. Remember, Rome had France. France was the first country or the first nation to join in under Rome's power or regime. Okay, from the western area, because that if and I can go back and back and back, but I'm gonna kind of stay right here just for the sake of our lesson. France became one of the first nations to join in with Rome. It was the France. They were under the religion of the Catholic power. Okay? France was now also the last, in 1788, the last country to break away from Rome under the Catholic religion. So how did they do it? they revolted against Christianity. France became an atheistic country. As a matter of fact, they coined the phrase liberty of conscience because they wanted to be free from the tyranny of Rome, where they can think on their own. So they coined the phrase liberty of conscience. Now, that was in 1788. Where did the Statue of Liberty come from? France. Watch this. Is the Statue of Liberty, what gender is the Statue of Liberty? Female gender. Well, while they were going through the revolution in France, they took a prostitute, a female, put her on the stage, stripped her naked, and called her the goddess of conscience. It's in your history books. Look it up. Your history book. Look it up. It's there.
We don't have a history book.
Google it.
Oh.
Encyclopedia it. It's there. The information is out there. And it's easily accessible. Okay? All right. So during that time, now here it is. The woman is now placed in our borders, in the New York Harbor. And they call her the Statue of what? Liberty. Liberty for what? Liberty from what? Conscience. Because no longer did Rome ever have power over the conscience. So now that America was a place of freedom of religion, you had freedom, you had the liberty of conscience. Here it is today that your rights are being stripped from you. Do you still have liberty of conscience to think and to do what's consciously right? Not anymore.
You said the goddess of conscience? That's what you said, the lady on the stage?
I want you to look it up. Not now, after, so we can talk about it later, okay? All right, because you're going to have questions. I want to move on, all right? All right. So is the government looking to make changes?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. And I just pulled a little bit. I couldn't put too much. But there's a lot of changes that's happening, okay? After last night's issue, just like that, Trump comes in and says he wants to use NATO to destroy ISIS in the war.
Hey, Larry?
Yes.
What exactly did happen last night? Because last night I was picking up my niece.
Oh, man. A truck in Nice, France. In Nice, France, they were celebrating fireworks. What is it called? Some with a B. I'm getting it's skipping my mind, but it starts with B. I don't want to call it Brussels. That's what's in my head right now. Oh my gosh.
Bastille Day?
Bastille Day. Thank you. Bastille Day. They were celebrating Bastille Day in France, in Nice, France, and thousands of people gathered along that strip where the beach, just across from the beach,
Right.
They opened the roads or whatever have you for people to come out there and walk and to be all out there and to see the fireworks. And a truck driver, I think he's a Tunisian. The person was a Tunisian. He was part of the government, pretty much, in Tunisia. He has a white truck, and he says he's coming there to to sell ice cream. Okay, a big truck to sell ice cream, an unmarked truck at that, to sell ice cream in Nice, France. Yes, an unmarked white truck that has nothing to do with ice cream. And they let him in. They opened up the thing and they let him in. And while they were letting him in, they kind of was walking, the security was walking with him. And when he got closer, he floored the gas. And he he hit whoever he hit him, and he was just going forward.
He just ran those people over?
and he, huh?
He just
Well,
ran
they
people
killed
over.
him. A bunch of bullets in the window, in the windshield. I
So
mean, but
basically, he went in there and started running people down.
just running them down.
You would think with ISIS and everything and everything else that's gone on, they would have at least looked inside the truck to make sure it was ice cream.
Right, correct. And France being what it is right now, France is being, they're on such high alert since what happened in December. Okay?
Wow.
Since what took place in December, they've been on such high alert. You would think. But remember that these type of attacks do not happen on hard targets. Okay? They happen at soft targets. That's why I'm very leery about sending my family to places where there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because terrorism, they want to attack where there's a bunch of what? People. Okay? So understand this attack that took place in Nice, France. This attack that took place in Nice, France happened, and it happened so quickly that people could not even move, Holly. They were so trapped. I mean, kids, children. He hit whoever he wanted to hit. And even after they shot him, the vehicle was still moving.
Wow.
Because when you shoot the person, he's dead. Remember, his foot was on the gas.
Right.
So the vehicle was still moving. I believe they killed about 84 people was dead, and 100 and something else was injured. Okay? So you got to look at it as this. And here's what they're saying. It's a terrorist attack. It's a terrorist attack, okay? So when you look up the word terrorist or terrorism, use your dictionary. Webster's dictionary defines terrorism as an act of terror for a political gain, or an act of terror to strike fear into the civilian, again, for a political gain. So there's a political gain in these terrorism or terroristic acts. This is not something that's just randomly done.
Right.
These are not people who are randomly doing things. This is set up. These attacks are set up. Okay? All these attacks are set up. Get Ollie.
It's very interesting. After 9/11, when the Patriot Act was put into place, people were grateful to have armed guards at malls and stadiums because it kept them safe. They did not care or understand that their constitutional rights had been taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what's happening here. The more terrorism that affects people, the more people are turning to government to protect them. The more government steps in to protect them, the more rights are taken away from the people. And they're happy to let them do it in the name of protection.
Correct.
And that's really why this is all going on.
And the more you allow the government to come in with these attacks, please take the guns away. Please take our speech away. Please take this away. We will do whatever it is to protect us, to protect ourselves. But yet, when you really look at people, do they really care about their lives? Because they go about their daily lives. This is done, right? 3 weeks later, everybody's back to their day. They totally forgot. Okay? People forget very quickly out here. All right? That's the reason why I'm telling these, one of these guys posted on Facebook today, that they're so happy that, the black bank, whatever, black economic, whatever they're doing, was a success. The folks went over to Citizens Bank, and black people opened an account in a black-owned bank, and we're happy about this. And I'm like, a black-owned bank. Now, I know for sure the investors of Citizens Bank are not all black. Most of them are the color you're fighting against. Banks are owned by investors and other investors. So when you say you're putting your money in a black-owned bank, you're not really thinking about the investors. You're thinking more about the name. So you're not really thinking on your feet. But here it is that we're looking for government. We're looking for a help. We're looking for peace. But 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5 says that when they call for peace, peace, peace they will call for. But what? Sudden destruction will happen. When they call for peace and safety, sudden destruction will take place. Okay? Okay, so here it is. The government looking to make changes. Donald Trump, let's destroy ISIS. Why hasn't NATO declared war on ISIS? Hillary Clinton says we need intelligence surge, and we need an intelligence surge to defeat terror. You know what this means? Not only is the Patriot Act already that's in place, they want to make sure they heighten it. Sooner or later, you will not be able to use the bathroom without a camera watching you.
Isn't that illegal now, though?
What? Now cameras watching in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Pretty soon, you will not be able to do the things you want to do without somebody keeping an eye on you.
Weren't there cameras in the automatic toilet?
Probably, Elliot. Who knows?
Those are sensors.
They're watching you through your smartphone. They're watching you through your computer. Smart TVs, all of that. They're watching you. Xbox, they're watching you. They're watching you. The newest Xbox is out there, or they're watching you.
Xbox One.
I guess so. They're watching you. Okay? So a lot of these things that are setting up, they're keeping an eye on you. Here's the other change. They're making political changes, but are they making religious changes too? Huh? They're making very big religious changes. Watch this. All of what took place in the last 2 weeks leads up to one thing. They also said tonight, around 7 o'clock in certain cities, they have what they call the Rage. The Rage March, whatever that it is. Okay? Pretty much, you know, the black community who is upset, they're going to go out there and have a Rage March. I don't know. Huh? A Rage March?
It's in the name.
It's in the name, really. It's you're angry. Okay? And they're going to take over certain cities. Okay? Certain cities like Atlanta, the big cities, New York, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., you know, Nashville, Tennessee, Houston. They're looking to do this whole Rage March, or whatever they're calling it right now. All right? Tonight. Now, all of this bubble is leading up to one thing. Tomorrow, July 16, 2016, they've got something called Together, right? The Together at the Mall in DC, right? Okay. They're pulling together this national, it's called Together at the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where all Christians stand as one, 1 million Christians stand as one in Washington, D.C., okay? One person made it clear. First of all, why are they allowing a whole bunch of Christians in Washington, D.C. to stand as one? It doesn't make sense. If you're trying to take down Christian posters, you're trying to take down the Bible from school, you can't pray in school, you can't do this, you can't do that, but all of a sudden, they got the Christians standing all at once in Washington. Something is happening. Okay? Huh? Something, no, this is bigger than just that. This is what you call a ritual. This is a ritual. It has nothing to do with Christianity, but more so for ritual. Here's what I did when I pulled up some research. 7. 1 plus 6 is 7. 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. The occult always do things with what? Numbers. Okay? They always do things with numbers. And I'm going to pull up something after the study so we can go back to this because I don't want to This is a whole nother mushroom or onion. But I'm going to pull something up and I'm going to have y'all read it for yourselves. That you can see that this isn't a cult practice here. Something is happening like this. This ain't about no Christianity standing to be for one. This is ecumenical. The Pope sanctioned this. He has a big t-shirt that says Together in 2016.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's going to be speaking. He's sanctioned this. Okay? So this is nothing, has nothing to do with Christianity. God is not sanctioning this. However, the other end, we have to look at the backside of it and see what's really happening here. All right? All right. What is this 9/11 account? What is this? What is this 9/11 account that will take place? What is this 9/11 account that's going to happen? Not the first 9/11, not 9/11, not September 11, 2001, but what is this upcoming 9/11? What is this account that's going to take place? Ellen White, Pen of Inspiration says, study the 9th chapter of Ezekiel. These words will be literally fulfilled. Not in the past tense, but in the present tense or future present tense. Yet the time is passing and people are what? Are asleep. They refuse to humble their souls and to be converted. Not a great while longer will the Lord bear with the people who have such great and important truths revealed to them, but who refuse to bring these truths into their individual experience. The time is short. God is calling. Will you hear? Will you receive his message? Will you be converted before it's too late? Soon and very soon, every case will be decided for eternity. So Ezekiel chapter 9, study that. And that we will do. In order for us to understand the up and coming 9/11, because there is another 9/11 that will take place. But for us to understand what this 9/11 is, we need to study Ezekiel chapter 9. So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 11.
I was watching you while we were on the way
Okay.
live, but I heard about the you said something about people getting together in a mall.
Yeah. This mall. This last scene right here. We're doing this together. Together National Mall 2016. That's tomorrow. Yep. That's tomorrow. All right. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 11. You got it?
Yeah.
Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 11. All right. And behold, the man clothed with white linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded. That's going to be the second 9/11. There is your 9/11. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 11. That's going to happen. Here is the caveat. The question should be, Larry, what is he talking about? What has he done? What has he finished? And what was the command? Right? All right. So, like a movie, I started in the end, and we're going to go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. And let me know when y'all got that. We're going to go to the beginning. Wayne, you still with us, Wayne?
Ezekiel 9.
I'm here, man.
All right. Devontae's here.
Oh, what's up, Devontae?
Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 8. We're gonna go. I took it to Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 11, so you can see 9/11. But in order for us to understand how it's all gonna go down, Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 8. Now, I have a picture of the sanctuary because we're going to be going through the sanctuary. And I want you to understand the coordinates of the sanctuary. The east part of the sanctuary has a what? If you look at it, there's a space, right? There's an opening on the east corridor of the sanctuary. You see that? Everybody see the opening? Right? Keep that in mind. Is there an opening on the north side?
No.
South side?
No.
West side?
No.
No. What is on the west side? The holies of? The Ark of the Covenant, the holies of holies, right? If you look down the bottom, you would see the color of the drapes that's on the east side, right? That's the opening. You can tell where the Ark of the Covenant is because you can see God's glory coming down from. Very good. So, now that we got the coordinates of the sanctuary, let's go in and see about this part of Ezekiel chapter 8. Why did the man with the inkhorn say, I have done all that you have commanded? All right? Ezekiel chapter 8, and I want to read it in story form, but y'all keep y'all stuff in King James Version and read it in story form, okay? Because we're going to make a story out of it. All right. Y'all ready? Holly, you ready, Holly? Hey, Renee. Y'all ready? On the fifth day, on the 6th month of the 6th year of our exile. I'm reading in the story form. Keep it in King James. I'm reading the story form. The leaders of the exiles from Judah were sitting in my house with me. So pretty much, Ezekiel is saying, during that period of the year, they were where? In exile. They were captured. It should say the exile in King James Version, right?
No.
What it says?
It says, as I sat in my house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord.
No, not there. The beginning. The 6th year of the time. He gave the time.
And it came to pass in the 6th year, and in the 6th month, and in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in my house. And the elders of Judah sat before me.
Okay.
Larry, you said he was in exile?
Well, yeah, they were actually in exile during that time. They were actually in Babylon during that time of his vision. Let me just.
Okay. All right. So he's in Babylon, in his home in Babylon.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'll read it in King James Version, but I'll read this story in King James Version. All right. So he was in his house, and the leaders of Judah, or the elders of Judah, were where? At his house with him. So he was in his house during a period of time. All right. And the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins, even downward, fire. And from his loins even upward, or from his loins, from his hip, going up, was the color of the appearance of the color of amber. All right? So who is he seeing? Who is Ezekiel seeing at this point? No. Who's Ezekiel seeing?
Was it an angel?
Right. He's seeing an angel. He's seeing, there's only one person that comes down in fire, because John had seen the same person. Christ. He saw Christ. Okay? Because only Jesus comes down in that same form. Same John. Remember John, when he was in exile in Patmos? In Revelation, he said how he saw him was what? As amber. Ezekiel said he saw him the same way. The same color, amber and fire. All right? One half was fire, the other half is amber. Okay? All right. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward, from his loins even upward, from the appearance of brightness of the color of amber. And he put forth the form of a hand, and took me by the lock of my hair, or from the lock of my head, or my hair, and the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven. and brought me in the vision of God to where? So he was not in Jerusalem at the time. He was in exile. Remember, they were in exile in Babylon during that period of time. Because remember that Babylon took Daniel, all those guys were all part in Babylon. They were in exile. They were not where Jerusalem was not there yet. But in the vision, God took Ezekiel back to Jerusalem, okay, to show him some things that were taking place in that city, okay? And as I read, I want you to not just look at Jerusalem as past tense. This is now where we are in present tense. This is present truth, because what it is now, this is going to come back, and you're going to see when it comes back, you're going to be like, wow, this is happening today. Okay? All right. And the Spirit of the Lord lifted me between the heaven and brought me to the visions of Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh towards the where? The north. Okay? Where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy? And behold, the glory of God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Now, he takes Ezekiel by the hair, brings him up, brings him to Jerusalem, and shows him through the vision the area of the north where jealousy was there. Now, Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, 4, and 5 says, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image of any likeness of anything that's in the heaven above, or that's in the earth below, or that's in the bottom of the earth beneath. For I, the Lord, I'm a what? Jealous God. Right? So if he saw jealousy, what do you think they had there?
An idol.
Huh?
An idol of a god.
What? Say it again, Holly.
An idol of a god,
idol.
probably of the god of jealousy.
There you go. An idol. That means there was something there that God says I am jealous of. Okay? All right. We're going to keep it going. And behold, and then he said unto me, Son of man, lift up your eyes, or look now towards the north. So I lifted up my eyes toward the north. And behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy is in the entry. This image of jealousy is in the entry on the north side, right there. Here is the thing, though. It is an idol, right? It's an idol. So this idol is there at the north side. If you see, the altar of burnt offerings is in the courtyard, right? That's where they burn. That's where they put the lamb on there, and they burn the lamb, and that's where the sacrifice happens. On the north end, though, in the holy place, that table right here is called a table of showbread. Right in that area is the statue, in the holy place. Not in the courtyard, but in the holy place. Okay? We're going to continue reading. All right. He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, see what they do? Can you see what they do? Even the great abomination that house of Israel committeth here, that I should go afar from my sanctuary. Can you see what they do so they can turn me away from my own sanctuary? This is, if you look down in the second picture, isn't God supposed to be in that sanctuary? His light is coming down right in the holies of holies, right? But this is what they do so they can draw God away from the sanctuary. So the more they do it, the more God's Spirit leaves the place where he's supposed to be what? Dwelling. Okay. All right. But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. So what was the first thing that he showed Ezekiel? He picked them up and showed them what? Jerusalem. And what did he see on the north side? Okay, very good. Keep that in mind. And he brought me to the door of the court. Where's the door of the court? Okay. He brought me to the door of the court. And when I looked, behold, there was a hole in the wall. Then he said unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I digged, there was another door. Now, how many entrances are there to the sanctuary? One. So which door did he show him? Did he bring him to? Was it the east side or the north side? The north. Are there any doors on the north side? Not at all. So something is fishy around this area right here. Something is going on the north side. Okay? Something is happening on the north side. The entrance to the sanctuary is only on the east side. There's only one area to go into the sanctuary. One area in, one area out. And he is showing him the north. And when he showed him the north, he says, go to the door. He brought me to the door of the court. And when I looked, there was a hole in the wall. He said, dig into the wall. And when he dug into the wall, there was another what? Door. Okay. So, the first thing they saw was idol worship was set up. The second thing he saw was the worship of false gods. One, let's go to John chapter 10 really quickly. John chapter 10. And we should see why there should be only one door. Ooh, whoa. It's not good. Hold on 1 second. All right, John chapter 10, verse 7. John 10, verse 7. So, how many doors did Ezekiel see? 2 doors. How many doors are supposed to be? Only one. John 7 says, Then said Jesus unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. Verse 8 says, All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. Verse 9 says, I am the door. By me, if any man enters in, he shall be what? Saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. So who is the door? Christ is the door. So there should be only one door. So the door that's in the sanctuary represents whom? Christ. But if he dug into the hole and he saw a second door, who represents that door? Satan. Very good. So basically there is an issue going on here. There is false worship going on in where? In God's church. Or put it like this, there is false worship going on in our what? Nation. Something is happening in our nation that was supposed to be a Christian-founded nation. Remember, this is present truth. This is not something that happened in the past. Don't look at it as something that because it's Ezekiel, oh, it's happening in the past. No, this is happening now. Ezekiel was a prophet that he showed him the vision on what's to take place in the future. This is happening right now. Okay? All right. So, Let's go back to Ezekiel chapter 8. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 8. This is happening right now. This is not something that's going on in the future, or this is happening in the past. This is happening right now. Ezekiel chapter 8. And we're on verse 9. Right? So he dug into the wall and he finds another door. Okay? That secret door uncovered idol worship inside the church. Okay? Inside the church. All right. And he said unto me, verse 9, go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do there. So I went in and I saw, behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts and idols of the house of Israel portrayed on the wall round about. Do you know what that means? Let me tell you what he really saw, just to give you a better idea of the things that Ezekiel saw. Ezekiel says, so I went in and looked, and the walls were covered with drawings of snakes and other unclean animals and of other things which the Israelites were worshiping. So basically, if they had drawings on the walls, what do you call that? Hieroglyphics. Very good. Snakes and the drawing of their gods was on the wall, on the inside portion of the wall of the north side, inside that door. Inside that door, Ezekiel saw the leaders of Israel worshiping these idols inside that door. In plain sight. Baal, all the other gods that absolutely should not even be there. Okay? It should not even be there. However, they were worshiping those gods. In Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 11, God says to Israel, it's funny how you can worship, it's funny how all the other pagan nations, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's funny how all the other nations can worship their God, and they can stay with their God. But the people who have the real God don't want to worship the real God. You want to go ahead and worship these fake gods that can't hear nor see. It's almost like I have more respect for the pagan nations who are worshiping their fake gods, but they're staying with them. I have no respect for somebody who's wishy-washy. Exactly. That's what he's saying. At least they stay faithful. But you all over the place. Either you're here or you're there. I'd rather you be hot or cold. Not lukewarm. Okay? All right. So he saw them worshiping these unclean animals, these hieroglyphics, these things on the wall. Okay? And he says now, let me go back to the language everybody understands. Verse 11. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancient of the house of Israel, and in the midst of them stood Jazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, with thick clouds of incense went up. Now, what does that mean for incense to go up? What does that mean? What? Prayers. Okay? When incense go up, it's prayers.
What verse?
Verse 11. It's prayers. So, who are they praying to with these incense in their hands? Burning incense by the walls. Burning incense by the idols. Who are they praying to? Huh? They're not praying to Christ. They're not praying to Jesus. They're not praying to God. So who are they praying to? Who's behind? There you go. There you go. Okay? Then he said unto me, Son of man, did you see what the ancient of the leaders of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say in their heart, oh, the Lord cannot see us. because he has left us on this earth, but he can't see us because we're in the dark and we're doing things in the secret, right? He said unto me now, verse 13, turn you yet again, and you shall see even more greater abominations that they do. So, what have they been doing? One, they had an idol worship set up in the north side. Two, they worship of the false gods on the walls, right? Right? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Okay. Three, they started burning incense. They were doing what? Praying. Okay. Very good. Here's the fourth one. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north. Again, we're still towards the north. Okay? All right? And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Who's Tammuz?
Tammuz is another pagan deity.
Right. Another pagan deity, or the son of Nimrod, the son of Isis. Okay? Or Samarisis, or Isis, or Samarisis, depending on which part of the country you want to come from. Okay? If you're Egyptian, it's Isis. All right? If you're Samaritan, or Sumerian, or whatever, it's Samarisis. All right? So, Nimrod, the sun god, when he died, he went, his soul, his spirit went to the where? To the sun. Samarisis, when she died, her soul went to the moon. But before she died, when Nimrod had died, the story goes that his rays or whatever impregnated Isis, and she bore a son, and she named him Tammuz. The rays of the sun impregnated her, and she bore a son by the name of Tammuz. She called him Tammuz, which means the son, the son from, yes, or the God from the sun. Okay? The God, which Tammuz is, from the sun, is what she's saying. Flip it around, it's the, there you go. So that's the Trinity deity. That's your deity right there. Nimrod, Samarisis, and Tammuz. It's another pagan deity. And here it is that now these women are weeping, lamenting over whom? Tammuz. But in this pagan weeping, they are normally weeping in a lewd and immoral behavior. If you go to Judges chapter 2, verse 17, it will let you know what they were doing. They were literally stripping their clothes, and they were, doing things in lewd and immoral behavior in their lamenting for Tammuz. So this was happening in front of the sanctuary. These are abominations that are happening in front of the sanctuary. Okay? All right. Going further. Then he said unto me, did you see this? Are you looking at this? Can you see this, my brother? Do you see what they're doing at my house? Understand how God is talking to Ezekiel. It's almost like he's pissed off. It's like a parent coming home and their teenage boys have destroyed the house. And one parent to the next parent is like, do you see what's going on around here? I mean, my dishes are broken up, the table is flipped over, the bathroom is dirty. I mean, can you see what's going on around here? This is exactly the way that God is talking to Ezekiel. Like, yo, this is my house. This is where I reside. Do you see what's going on? This is how pissed off he is. God is pissed. Like, he is to the point of redness. Okay? He says, have you seen this, Son of Man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see even greater abominations. So here it is. One, idol worship. 2, worship of false gods. 3, praying to the other gods. 4, women are weeping over Tammuz. They are crying for some other god. Okay? And he brought me into the inner court. This is verse 16. And he brought me into the inner court. The inner court. Mind you, the inner court now is at the east side. Okay? He brought me to the inner court of the Lord's, I'm sorry, not the inner court, the holies. Holies of holies. All right? He brought me to the inner court of the Lord's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men. 25 men. How many men? With their backs towards the temple of the Lord, and their faces towards the east, and they worship the what? The sun towards the east. Now, we showed you what was on the west side. The west side has the what? Holies of holies. So basically, if you're worshiping God, you're facing the where? The west, because you're looking towards the holies of holies, because that's where he resides, right? And your back is towards the what?
The east.
But in what Ezekiel saw, the 25 elders, the leaders of the church, now the leaders of the world, along with the leaders of the church in our present day, leaders of the world and the leaders of the church are facing the where? And their backs are to the what? So what are they worshiping now? They're worshiping the sun. It is now called what? Sun worship. And the sun rises where? In the east. So they're worshiping the what? The sun. This is what? Sun worship. This is pagan worship. And oh, by now, God is thorough. He is mad. Because yes, you have done all this in my house, but now you're facing the east and you're worshiping the sun. This is the elders, the leaders. An elder is a what? A leader. Okay? These are your elders of the world. Your politicians, those who lead, and these are your leaders in the church, your clergymen, your pastors. They have turned their backs on God, and now they're facing the east. So no matter what we do, no matter how many marches we do, no matter how much we go to black-owned banks and we put our monies in black banks and we do this and we do that, our backs are towards the west and our face is towards the east, and we have lost focus on God. We're worshiping false gods. We're not worshiping the true God. We're worshiping false gods. And anytime you worship the false god, the devil knows you're worshiping whom? Him. Okay. Let's see what was said in verse 17. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Have you seen what's going on? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with what? Violence. What's going on in our world today? Violence. Last night, how many people died? 84 people dead. How many were injured? 202. Just like that. Violence. Blood is on the streets. You know what the Bible says? I posted it sometime this week. In Isaiah chapter 59 verse 14. Justice is gone. Justice has left the street. There's no such thing as justice anymore. And blood is filling the land. Is it going to get worse? Oh yeah. This is just a light thing. This is just This is just the beginning of sorrows. It hasn't even started yet. The 4 angels are holding on to the winds of strife. Hurt not the sea, nor the earth, nor the trees. Once we are sealed. Oh, and they let go of the 4 winds of strife? Woo! Only at this point, God. Because we have not seen anything yet. This is just the beginning of sorrows, according to Matthew 24. Okay? Here is what God says. They have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to what? To what? Anger. So is God angry at this point? Yes, he is. And lo, they put the branch to where? Oh my goodness. Therefore will I also deal in what? Fury. Mine eyes shall not do what? Come on, y'all. Come on. Are y'all reading this with me? It will not what? Spare. I will not have what? Pity. And though they what? Cry or pray, in my ears with a loud voice, I will not do what? I won't hear them. They can pray as much as they want. They can cry as much as they want. Okay?
Larry?
I will not do what? Yes, Holly.
What does that phrase, they put the branch to their nose, mean?
Good question. Good question. Here it is. Huh? Hold on. No, they must come down and do them right in front of my temple and make me even more angry. Look how they insult me in the most offensive way possible. They will feel. Oh, look how they provoke me in the most offensive way possible. Pretty much, they make light of the situation.
Right. So here it says, it is, or is there anything lighter than to commit?
Right. They make light of the situation. They put the branches to their nose like it's okay. Like this is, like it's a sweet smelling savor. It doesn't matter to them.
It's like right under their nose.
Right under
God is right
under their nose, right.
All you have to do is submit to them. It's right there, and they don't even care.
He's actually on the west side. And these things right up under, they put branches, right? It's right up under I'm right up under your nose. But it's to you, it doesn't matter. You put this over here, you like, it doesn't matter to me. We make a light of it. As you can see right now, this is a do as thou wilt nation as it is. Took my nephew and my son to the pool the other day. A song was being played, and it's called what? I Don't Care. Remember the song? I Don't Care is the name of the song. And the girl who was singing, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I do what I want to do. I be who I want to be. I don't care. This is the nation that we're living in right now. This is the world that we're living in right now. Listen, I don't care world. But God says they will feel all the force of my anger. I will not spare them or show them any mercy. They will shout prayers to me as loud as they can, but I will not even listen to them. Okay? So now, we saw what took place in God's house. We saw what happened. We read verse 9 of chapter 9, verse 11 of Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9 now and see what took place. Ezekiel chapter 9. We have read what happened in the sanctuary, correct? Or what happened in our society. Because what goes on, here it is. What is a community built of? People. What else? People live in homes. And homes are built around what? The neighborhood is built around what? A
family.
No,
Around a family.
A neighborhood is always built around a what?
Park?
We already did.
Closeness, like
Holly, what is a neighborhood built around?
people.
I would
What?
say family.
Sit down. Okay. A church. A neighborhood is always built around a church. It may not seem that way, but it is. A neighborhood is always built around a church. Look at this neighborhood right here. It's built around a what? A church. This is where the neighborhood system came from. This is your first this is your first subdivision. Here is your subdivision right here. Don't you see subplots broken up into tents? Right? Every tent had their own lot, real close to each other. That's because there was thousands and thousands of them. But look what's in the middle. A what? The church. So every neighborhood is built around the church. And old school America was built that way. Old school America had neighborhood, church. Neighborhood, church. Because they believed in that system. Why? Because the church, the church is the reflection of the what? The home. The church is the reflection of the home. So if the church is in the neighborhood, that means the neighborhood reflects the church as the church reflects the neighborhood, and society reflects the church. Your community reflects the church. So now that all this has taken place in the community, which is our society today, we're seeing that sin is rampant and all this thing is happening and happening and happening. Well, it's because the home that represents the church that represents the community, is no longer there. So what does God have to say in Ezekiel chapter 9? Let's go take a look. Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 1, and he cried also, this is God, he cried in my ears with a loud voice saying, cause them that have charge over the city, over the what? You see now, this is present tense. This is present tense. This is for our cities. This is for our nation. Cause them that have charge over the nation. Let's interchange the word city for nation, just for the sake of this conversation. Because a city is built out of a what? A nation surrounds a what? The city. The city's in the middle of the what? The nation, right? You can keep going. You can go neighborhood, church, right? Community, town, city, county, state, government, country, right? That's how you do it. So the Bible does not have to be explicit. You can just see where God is going. Okay? He cried also in my ears with a loud voice saying, cause them that have charge, the leaders over the city or over the nation, to draw near, every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. Okay? And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate. How many men? 6 men. Came from where? Where did they come from? The way of the higher gate. What does that mean? What does it mean they came from the higher gate? Huh? No, they did not come from the north. That's what the problem is. They ain't come from the east either. This is the higher gate. Huh? Huh?
Army?
What? Heaven. Oh, that's all he means. These are not just regular 6 men. These are not just your regular 6 men. No, this is just God chose. No, look at the number here. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. So now, these, how many men now? It can't be. 7 men. There were 6 men, and one who was with them was clothed with what? White linen. All in white, with a what in his hand?
Larry,
An inkhorn. Yes, Holly?
it says, "Behold, 6 men came, and one among them." Wouldn't that mean one of the 6?
No. No. It was 6 men and one that was with the 6 men. One that was among them. One with them. 6, and this one is a special one. Okay? He cannot be among the 6 men because you're going to see exactly why he was not among the 6 men. Or he was
I can tell right here
part of
because
the 6 men.
I can tell the 6 men had slaughter weapons in their hands, and the other one had the writer's inkhorn.
Right. Let's read it. Okay. When you look at the passage, this one was with them, and one man among them was clothed with linen. This man who was among them was separate from the 6 men. He was amongst the 6 men, but he was separate. He was different. He did not have anything, no slaughter weapon in his hand, no nothing. The 6 men had slaughter weapons, but this person that was amongst them did not have that. Doesn't mean it's not saying that he was a part of the 6. It's not 5 men that got called to do a job. He actually called 6, and he separated them, and he pulled the one that was amongst them, the 7th one. He pulled them out because he was dressed differently. Okay, we shall see why there was this one special guy. Okay, let's read further. So you had 6 men, every man a slaughter weapon in his hand, and one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. So at this point, they were at this part of the brazen altar. They were at the altar of incense at this part of the sanctuary. Okay, I probably should use my mouse.
The brazen altar is the burnt offering altar?
Yeah, right here. I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. The altar of burnt offering. Sorry, thanks.
So that would be in the courtyard.
They're right here. Yes, they're right here inside the courtyard. Okay? They're right there inside the courtyard. And the glory of God of Israel was gone up from the cherub. Okay? So at this point, the glory of God came up from here and went up. All right? Whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with the linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. Okay? So at this point, God calls to the man, he calls the one guy to give him his instructions.
Larry?
Okay. Yes.
Sorry to ask another question, but
no,
when it said the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, did that mean that he left, or that his glory was actively going up at that point in time?
No, it's gone up. He had to leave.
He left, okay.
Yes. When we read on, you're going to see why he left.
Okay.
He couldn't stay there. He had to leave. Okay? This is okay. So Holly, I want you to look at it from a present truth standpoint. If God's spirit is still left on this earth, then his 7 last plagues cannot touch this earth.
Right.
You understand? Okay. So the spirit has to be what? Removed. Yes. Let's go back to the days of Noah. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be what? It be. There you go. So basically, God says, my spirit shall no longer thrive with man, right?
Right.
So his spirit left after 120 years, his spirit was what? Gone. In order for what to take place? The flood. Okay? So look at it from that standpoint, Holly. All right? Now,
Right.
reading further. And the Lord gave the writer the Lord gave the guy with the all in white his instructions. His instructions were in verse 4: go through the midst of the city, go through the midst of the town, go through the midst of the county, go through the midst of the nation, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that was done in the midst thereof. Go and put a mark. That's what he told the guy with the white on, with the ink on in his hand. Go and set a mark on these guys' foreheads. That's your job. Mark them for the ones who did what? Sighed and cried for the abomination. The one who cried against what was going on. The one who saw what was wrong and said, look, y'all are doing wrong. The ones who were standing up for God and said, hey man, you guys got to stop this nonsense. The ones who sighed and cried, put a mark on their foreheads. Okay? Now, and to the others, he said in my hearing, go you after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare. To the others, the 6. Let not your eye spare, neither you have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and the little children and the woman. But do not come near any man upon whom is the mark, or don't touch anyone who has a mark on their where? Their foreheads. Okay? And he said to begin where? At my sanctuary. Begin at the church. Why? Because the church is in the middle of the what? The neighborhood. The church is the center of the community. It is what the community drives and thrives off of. So begin at my where? My house. If they're going to start the trouble in my house, we're going to end the trouble in my house. All of this began where? What were they doing in God's house? Idol worship. Worship of false gods. Praying to other gods. Women weeping over Tammuz. Worshiping of the what? The sun. All this was happening where? God's house. While he was where? While he was right there. Isn't it happening right now? All this is happening right now. And oh, by the way, you don't need to form an idol. You don't need to chop wood or get some gold and form it into a god. No. Whatever your mind desires to be your God, it is your God. If you call yourself God, then you are serving yourself rather than God himself. So idol worship, what makes God work, what makes God jealous and upset? Sunday, the worship of sun. That Sunday worship, that first day worship, when that line is drawn and you choose to worship or you choose to follow that day rather than what God has set forth, boom. Let's continue reading verse 7. I'm going to read verse 6 again. Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children and women. But do not come near anyone or any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began, these are the 6 men. Then they began at the ancient men, the elders, which were before the house. Let's think back. Flashback one chapter. Before the vision, what was Ezekiel doing? He was at his where? With whom? The same exact elders. God showed them that these same people who are talking with you are the same exact ones who are praying to the sun. These are the same exact people. So look at this.
Wait, Larry, how could
I
that
can't hear
be?
you, Holly.
How could that be if the elders were with him in Babylon and he was seeing the elders in Jerusalem?
Because this is in a vision, Holly. God is showing him who the true people. God is showing him the same people who are sitting right next to him, their true colors. These
Right.
are the same ones. You see, Ezekiel is in exile with the vision of what's taking place, what's going to take place in the future. But God is showing him that as a true commandment keeping Christian, that there will be other Christians around you who will not be doing the same. And these will be the elders or the leaders of your church leading my people wrong. And God is saying, I'm starting with them. I am going with them first because they have led my people astray. So what's going on in our churches today, Holly? Our leaders of our churches are not standing up. Look what's going on with this LGBTQ community. Infiltrated the church, and now, where? And now, all this, I mean, there are things happening so much, so fast. The leaders of our churches are quiet. But
Right.
yet, huh?
I agree with you.
But yet, it's really quiet. But yet, let something happen to the people in the community. All of a sudden, the leaders of the church say we stand for them, we're praying for them. It's just a sad situation what happened in the polls. It is a sad situation what happened in the polls. But why couldn't you stand up when the law was passed last year? June 27, 2015. Why was you quiet then? But you can speak now. This is the sign, the cry that we have to do against the church. You see, this is what's going on because now these things are happening. As soon as they pass the law for same-sex marriage, well, America has gone what? Down the drain. Morality has gone down the drain. And look what's going on in America now. Now the pregnancy pangs of the woman is really contracting. The contractions are moving a little faster. What was before 20 minutes apart is now 15 minutes apart. And soon it will be 10 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart. And oh, the baby is coming. Jesus is coming. All right. Look at this. Now, verse 7. And he said unto them, defile the house. This is the six people. He said unto them, defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth, and they slew the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, while these six guys were killing, right? I was left. This is Ezekiel saying, I was left. He was the only one left. And I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah God, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel and thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? Who is he crying for at this point? The people. Are you going to kill everybody? And listen to the answer that God gave him. Then he said unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of what? What's going on in our nation today? The land is full of blood. The iniquity of America, the iniquity of Rome, the iniquity of Russia is exceedingly great, and blood is on the land. When Cain killed his brother Abel, what did God tell Cain about the blood? What did he say the blood was doing? It was crying out. It's the same thing that's happening today. God is hearing the cry of the blood. Why is he hearing the cry from the blood? Because the blood has what? No, has L-I-F-E. Life. The blood has life in it. Okay? It has life. Even though the soul may be dead, that blood, God can still hear the cry from the blood itself. So he's hearing the cry. And he told Ezekiel, blood is on the ground. The city is full of blood, and the city full of what? Perverseness. For they say, the Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. Oh, the Lord is gone. You know what? They saw his glory go up. That has never been a surprise to Israel. They see the dark smoke come down, go up and down. It has always been down there. Once they see it lift up, they know it's gone. He's gone, but he can't see. They're in the church, but God can't see them. And this is what they're saying.
That's what they're thinking?
This is what they're saying.
Oh, I was like,
God says, he says, for they say, out their mouth, for they say, the Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. And as for me also, mine eyes shall not spare. This is God saying, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And behold, 9:11. 9:11. 9:11. And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded. I have done what thou hast commanded. The angel goes back, and the angel says, I have done what thou hast commanded. When God sends the 6 angels of war to go into the city and destroy, he gave them a command. Do not touch the people who have the mark on their foreheads. I have sealed them. The angel with the inkhorn in his hand goes back to heaven and says, what? I have done what thou hast commanded. My job is done. The question is, are we going to be Revelation 7, verses 1 to 3? Are we going to be verse 4? Because that was the angel. Now watch this. Revelation 14. That same angel. God sends the same angel and says, go gather up the what? The remnant, or go gather up it's time for the harvest. Go and pick up the harvest. Those who have been what? Sealed. So understand this. While all this is going on, while they are setting things up, while Obama may be set up for a 3rd term, while they may be setting up for martial law, which they will have to. Why? Because in order to get one government, one financial government, one religion, one world religion, right? And one global power, you must have what? A police state. And martial law guarantees a police state. How do you create martial law? Well, you have to rile up the people 2 ways. It's called fear. 1 way, fear. Fear has 2 things about it. 1, fight or flight. 2, fight or flight. Either you fight or you take flight. And most of the people are going to do what? Fight. You know why they're going to fight? Because they're going to realize that our rights have been taken away. An uprising will happen. Huh? Well, that's the whole point. The whole point is subconsciously we have given up our rights. Consciously, we have given up our rights. Subconsciously, we think we still have what? Rights. So the problem is, on the subconscious level, you're still trying to do things within your what? Your rights. But on the conscious level, you have said, oh, you know what? Take my speech. Because I may say a hate crime. I don't want to say a hate crime. I love everybody. I think the gay guys are good. I think this guy is good. I think everybody should be all right. I want to be biased. I give my right to say what I want to say how I really feel. I can't say what I feel in America no more. You know why I can't say what I feel in America anymore? Well, it's simple. I remember it started off, never started off. I remember when you couldn't say the word bomb in school. No, this is in school. This is before the airport. This is pre 9/11. You couldn't say the word bomb. Well, I went to Evander Childs High School in the Bronx, and they set up a couple pipe bombs in the school, 3 or 4 times. Right? It wasn't me. But I remember it wasn't cherry bomb. No, pipe bomb. This is in science class. These dudes will create their stuff, and they are actually creating bombs. Okay, and they'll blow a door off or something like that. They'll go blow a door off downstairs in the basement. You feel the whole building just shake, and we'll be outside fire drilling. And sometimes they'll just do it just so we can get outside and they can go home. It used to be some fun time in school. Oh yeah, Evander Childs is the best. But we couldn't say the word bomb because if we did, we'd get suspended. Right? No. No, you can't say what she's the bomb was not really the term, the word we were using back then. She was fly, she was, you know what I'm saying? Those are the words. But you wouldn't say she was, your head looking at the bomb. You wouldn't say that. Okay? You wouldn't say that back then. That's a millennial word. That's a millennial word. What I'm trying to say is that we can, little by little, please, little by little, your speech, things you couldn't say anymore, was being stricken from you. Because if you say the word bomb in school, that means they may think you have a bomb, you're going to blow up the school. Now you can't say bomb anywhere. God forbid they can hear me via the computer. You know what I'm saying?
Shut down.
Right? So you can't say these things. You can't say nothing anymore. Nothing can be said anymore. The thing about this situation is that now that your freedom of speech has been gone, when they shut your mouths, you cannot tell people what's really about to go on. Like my brother Wayne on the line right now, who wants to know, yo, I see a lot of stuff happening. What's really going on? But I just can't tell him from a conspiracy theory type of theory. I can't do it from a theory of conspiracy. I can't do that because you wouldn't understand. I got to give it to you from a biblical perspective, so that way you can see, oh snap, this is prophesied to happen. This is going to go down. There's stuff that's going to take place that I'm not even ready for. We're not even ready. We're not even prepared for. When these things start happening, they're looking to make sure that they, as much as we're in the city, they're trying to move really fast to keep us in the city. They're trying to shut things down so fast that we're dependent on the government to the point of our lives being supported by the government. When they go cashless, oh my goodness. You know how many people do not have bank accounts, checking accounts, credit cards, debit cards? You know how many don't have it? Everything they use is what? Cash. And when they go to a cashless society within the next 6 to 8 months, what are they going to do? They have to get in tune with the government. Revelation chapter 13 is on point. He will cause all to do what? He will make to do what? Buy nor sell. Because you don't have the what? The means. You have to go through the government.
So yeah, look at Venezuela.
Look what happened in Venezuela.
The only thing that they're giving out food and stuff is on the Sabbath.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that not foretelling? Is that not foretelling?
It's when I see to America?
Oh no, it ain't coming. It ain't coming. It ain't gonna happen.
Ain't never gonna happen.
That's called alarmist. Well, I'm gonna say this to you. Many of you may or may not know him. Ted Wilson. Ted Wilson wrote an article. I was reading this article, and he was talking about the fact that Ted Wilson is the president of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. And he had written an article. And in this article, the hard copy, I read the hard copy, he was saying some things that we are in a crisis, but while we're in this crisis, we have to preach and teach the third angel's message. Okay?
Larry, can you repeat that and talk a little louder?
Huh?
Repeat what you just, that last sentence, and talk just a little louder. You said that something about we're in a crisis, and while we're in the crisis, what?
We have to continue to teach and preach the third angel's message. This was a message from Ted Wilson. He put it on a digital copy, and he had posted it. And of course, I know he didn't post it, but of course, the digital copy went viral on Facebook. And one of my friends said that she read this thing 3 times, and she can't understand a word he's saying. So people started commenting on what he was saying and how this white man is talking about garbage while black people are dying by cops. This white man is talking about preaching and teaching, but black people are dying. And all of it is just this white man, or he doesn't understand because he's white, and this, that, and the third. And I'm saying to myself, are you really kidding me? So I responded, and I said, have you guys read Matthew chapter 24, verse 12? Where iniquity abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Just that alone should tell you where we are in our nation today. Iniquity abounds in America. The love of man, people don't care no more. They're killing in cold blood, don't care. But yet you're saying that you're afraid for your children, you're afraid for this, you're afraid for that, you're afraid for this. And the Bible did tell me that God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of sound mind and of judgment, right? So how am I supposed to be afraid of what's going on if I know for sure that if I know the promises the Bible has given me? Are you not right? Are you not reading? Because if you were, you would not be saying you're afraid for your children, you're afraid for this, you're afraid for that. That means the government has done exactly what they wanted to do. They have pumped fear into your heart. And now you're living and you're making decisions of an emotion of what? Fear and anger. And now you want to fight back. Now you want to own a black-owned business. Now you want to boycott Target. Now you want to boycott who else? Sam's Club or you know, all these other places. And Coca-Cola. And I'm saying to you, hey, I'm a minority-owned business. I'm a black-owned business guy, right? Well, I have contracts with Coca-Cola, and all of a sudden now, you boycott Coca-Cola, and guess what happens to me? I thought my life mattered too, because I'm black. If black lives really mattered, wouldn't you protect the black lives that does matter? No, you're not really protecting black lives. What you're doing is looking for your own purpose. You're working for your own purpose. And there's no goal to what you're doing. There's absolutely no goal. Because you're not going to get anything out of it. Trust me. Coca-Cola can lose $2 billion today and not feel a dent in their wallet. What Coca-Cola will do, though, when they lose $2 million in their wallet, they will let go people. That's it. They'll let go the same black man who works for Coca-Cola, and his family would not be fed. And all of a sudden, his life won't matter. And he'll be sitting down. The same guy who said Black Lives Matter but works for Coca-Cola is now fired, and he'll be sitting at home going, dang, I thought my life mattered. But it doesn't matter. I'm in Dubai having a long conversation with people here in America who should be understanding the prophecies of the Bible. And they're telling me, Larry, you don't understand. This is about black lives. It's a genocide of the black race. And I had to pause for a minute and go, wait a minute. The last time I checked for what a genocide was, a genocide is what happened to the Jews. When this one person decided he wanted to kill off a whole race, and he went into their homes and took them out their homes, and everyone who was a Jew or black was killed or brought to a concentration camp and killed. I said, that's not happening here in America. I said, that's not a genocide of a race. I said, what it is lack of education and lack of research and knowledge and wisdom, because America is putting on a genocidal show. This is genocide from the top down, or from the bottom up, whichever way you want to look at it. But they're the ones wiping people out. And they're wiping us out all for what? Another thing. Population what? Control. So you can't see that? If I kill the man, where life comes through the man, then I'm controlling what? Population. Because women cannot make babies on their own. And oh, by the way, I'm going to continue pushing the LGBT stuff because 2 men cannot make babies on their own. And neither can 2 women. So all this stuff that they're doing, literally, the black or the white male have been killed under the Obama administration alone, more than any president that has ever been in America. The male population, whether it be black, white, Hispanic, or other, has been killed more in America under the Obama administration more than any president in the world or in America. So what does that mean to us? That means we got to get out of our heads that we're living in a nation where we of our own power, like Trump said today, that we have to get down to the bottom of this and we have to fix this. We have to stop this garbage. I'm saying to myself, this man thinks that man can stop what's going on. I thought this man read his Bible. I thought this man read his Bible. If he read his Bible, he would know that Ephesians chapter 6 would say that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principalities and powers, against evil men in high places. It says spirituality. We cannot fight against that. That's why the Bible says take on the whole armor of what? Of God. So when the wiles of the evil one comes against you, when he throws his fiery darts against you, we have the shield of what? Faith. So we cannot fight against them in our own flesh and blood. You can't. We lose the battle. We lose the fight. Easily.
But here's another thing too. A lot of this will be nation against nation and
Kingdom against kingdom.
And people against people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically saying that while there's going to be a race war in every country, just about every country, there is going to be country against country at the same time. So that's a total breakdown of each and every society.
He broke it down. Christ broke it down, but we cannot see it as that because you know why? We're so caught up in our garbage called spiritualism, which is our next Bible study for next week. What is the deal with the north side? Why is Ezekiel stuck? Why is God showing Ezekiel everything at the north side?
The north side is where they slave down.
No, that's actually that's the court. But the showbread is on the north side. Remember, the north side in that area is the holy, is the holiness, right? Not the most holy, but the holy place. Okay. So what's the deal with the north side? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 to 14. Somebody find that real quick. Isaiah 14, verse 12 to 14. Somebody find Exodus 26, verse 35. And then somebody find Exodus 25, verse 23 to 25. We're going to see what's going on with the north side. Why is the north side so special? Why is the world?
I know Isaiah 14, 12.
Okay, go ahead with that. Read out so how you can hear.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down the ground which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast set in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
All right. So, going back to our sanctuary, he says he will do what? On the sides of the north. The north side. Something special. The devil knows that there's something special at the side of the north, or the north side. Let's see what it is that's special. Ezekiel chapter 26, verse 35, somebody? I'm sorry, Exodus 26, verse 35. Exodus 26, verse 35.
And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over
Whoa,
against.
whoa, whoa. Speak up so they can hear you.
And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side.
All right. What table is that?
That's the table of showbread.
Table of showbread.
That's basically the word of God.
Oh, and not only that, but what else? Who else is? We're gonna come to that. Hold on.
The priest.
No, we're gonna come to that. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Exodus 25, verse 23 to 25. There's something special about the north side. 23 to 20.
And thou shalt make a table of
Showbread. Showing wood.
yeah. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and the cubit the breadth thereof, and the cubit and half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make unto it a border of the handbreadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about.
Okay. So he was telling Moses how to make this table. Okay? Telling Moses how to make this table. But the showbread, there's showbread on this table. And this table has 6 loaves of showbread. 2 sides. Right? This is exactly how it looks. 2 sides, 6 loaves of showbread. How many showbread you got? 12. Okay. Look how God deals with his numbers. How many tribes in Israel? 12. In heaven, how many people sit on the throne? 12 elders are on the throne. In heaven, though, who sits on the throne? How many people sit on the throne? On the throne. Christ and?
2, Christ and God.
2. So there's 2 showbreads, each equal out 6 each, which makes what? 12, right? For the 12 nations of what? Israel, or the 12 tribes, right? So there's only what? 2 sets, 6 each, correct? Now, the showbread represents what again? The Word of God. Not just and, in John chapter 6, verse 51,
I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I give for thee, the life of the world.
Oh, so who is the living bread? Christ is the living bread. So you understand how this whole symbol of the showbread manifests itself to whom? Christ. And it sits where? On the north side. So God's throne, although it sits in the holies of holies, the most holy place, right, where the Shekinah glory is, that showbread represents him and Christ. Right? And Mr. Lucifer, now termed Satan, says, I will ascend where? Above the mountains. I will walk amongst the fires. I will stay on the sides of the where? The north. So he knows exactly what he was doing when he put the idol in front of the showbread. He knows exactly what he was doing when he put a door between another door that had a secret compartment to where these guys were going in and they were worshiping idols on the north side. He knows exactly what he was doing. Here's what he was doing. He figured that if he comes in and adds himself as a third piece to the Godhead, how many loaves of bread do you have now?
18.
3. 3 divided by 3 into 18 is what? Very, very good. There goes your kingdom. There goes your kingdom. So here it is that this guy thought once he puts himself amongst whom? God, and makes himself as God, now you have another 6 to the showbread. Okay? So that is why the north side was so special. That's the reason why God told Ezekiel, he lifted him up by the head. He took them over to Jerusalem and said, see what they were doing. Have you not seen what's in my house? Understand that Daniel and Ezekiel, all of them were exiled because of the abominations that were going on in where? Judah and in Israel. But Ezekiel got to understand what took place and why they're in exile. Do you see what's going on? This is why you're here. Had to. But now in the present tense, what's happening today, the devil is doing exactly what he tried to do again. He is putting himself in front of God on the north side. And he's pulling people. The whole world is wandering after the whom? The beast. And the what? His image. So what's the deal with the north side? 9/11, spiritual 9/11. We read the seal and the close of probation. We read that God had set his wrath and probation was closed on Israel. Again, his probation will be closed on this world very, very soon. When it's time, when iniquity has reached, and God says, and the angel comes back up and says, Lord, I have done my job. 9/11, I have done my job. The people are sealed. What happens after that? What happens after God's people are sealed? No.
Isn't that when the plagues? Is that when the
winds of strife? Would you say, Holly?
Is that when the plagues begin?
Not yet. The winds of strife is let loose. Chaos. It's called the little time of trouble. Chaos on this earth. And then comes the 7 last plagues. It's time for God's wrath. He is mad. He's not upset. He's angry.
The plagues begin when probation is closed on everyone.
Correct.
Okay.
Once probation is closed, that's when it begins.
The probation kind of technically still open.
It's not technically.
When the winds let loose.
When the winds let loose, that is it. Probation has to close. You know why? Because God, that little time of trouble is going to be for a short snippet. But God's going to understand that if he does not do it, the very elect might not be saved. So that's
So that little time of trouble is when the latter rain falls, correct?
Say it again. I can't hear you, Holly.
The little time of trouble is when the latter rain falls?
Correct. The right. Through it, correct. So understand, this is not far off. It's not far off. It's very close. It's about, as my boy said, it's about to go down. I can't remember who said that. It's about to go down. So are we ready? Are we ready for the next 9/11? I want to be ready for that scene. That's the 9/11 I'm talking about. See, 9/11 was the angel going up and saying, I am done. I have sealed the saints in their forehead. Now, Lord, do your work. Vengeance is for you. I have sealed them. They're good to go. Huh? I have sealed them. So, are we ready for 9/11? Are we going to be?
Yeah.
Do it.
The crazy thing is, it would be crazy if the second 11 happens on the original 9/11.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Let's pray. Hey, Wayne, stay on, man, because I'm sure Devontae will talk to you. Let's pray and close out real quickly. Dear Lord, I want to thank you so much for another wonderful Sabbath evening, another good Bible study, Lord Jesus, where we can talk about these things and learn a whole lot of what's going on. There's so much happening right now that we can't even kind of fathom. Things are just being thrown at us over and over again. The television is desensitizing minds. It's reprogramming minds, and that's what it is. It's programming. And Lord, we just ask that you shield us from all this garbage. Send your Holy Spirit to continue to speak with us, to give us wisdom and understanding, so we may know what's to take place ahead of us, and that we may be ready to stand, and having done all to stand, just stand. Lord Jesus, continue to be with all those online. I pray for their souls. I pray that you continue to bless them and keep them. Save us, we pray in your kingdom. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys online. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Holly. Holly, of course, if you want to hang around, you can always.